Harry, run timing, putting a nice performance last time for you off the front, and he was very good.
Yeah, he was. I liked him when I trialled him before his first ever run, and he seems a progressive type. He stuck it out nicely in front last time.
Showed some really good speed as well, obviously, unlike what he was doing in a couple of runs prior, so I guess he's a very versatile horse as well.
That's right. I think the plan wasn't always to go forward on him, but the draw just meant that I needed to get up there into a handy position, and just found myself in front, but he was quite happy to be there.
I'd imagine it might be a bit of the same again, but 13, how does that compromise sort of his racing pattern?
It's far from ideal, but I think we'll just have to go forward and try and slot into a handy position, and look, if he ends up in front again, it's not the end of the world.
Mark Newnham, you've got some nice horses running on Monday's card. One of them has already had a start. That's Invincible Lucky. That was a really good run on debut.
Yeah, look, he's shown us a bit in his work in his trials. He took a while to get balance, but he found the line strongly.
You've stepped him up in trip quite quickly. Obviously, he's up to 14 now. Was that always the plan with him?
Yeah, look, I think his best is going to be at 1600, maybe even a little bit further. So I think the tempo of a 1400 will just help him travel through the early stages of the race.
I guess talking of that tempo, obviously what he was able to do late on in his race on debut was obviously very encouraging, and I imagine you'd be expecting a bit the same if there is a good pace on.
Yeah, and look, where he's drawn, he's going to have to give them a start, so he'll go back, but look, if he gets a good draw into the race, she'll be a strong late.
You've given him a trial since as well. He looked to come through that trial nicely. Were you happy with that?
Yeah, and look, being a month between runs, he just needed to stay up to the mark, so no, he trialled nicely, and he's improved. Every week I've had him here, he's improved a little bit each week.
Frankie, some really nice horses running on Monday's card as fully expected. And you've got probably one of the most interesting by the name of Unbelievable. Now, he's the artist formerly known as Bertinelli. How has he settled in? He's got some good form from Europe.
Yeah, before the horse arrived in my stable, everything looks fine. I want to trial him on early of December, but unfortunately he had temperature at that time, so I need to wait a little bit. Until now, I just can start to race him. Yeah.
What about the trials with him, Frankie? I mean, I had a look at his most recent one. He ran 5th, but he made up some nice ground from the back of the field. I guess, if anything, the distance in a trial is always going to be too short for him.
Of course, 1200 too short for him. I think that's why I put in 1600 the first start. I think he need more ground later on, yeah.
You've kept him a colt as well. Has that always sort of been the plan? I mean, it's a little bit unusual for Hong Kong, but he is still a colt. Is he a nice horse to deal with?
He's a nice horse because I don't want to waste the time. So maybe after this season, think about maybe get him, yeah.
What has your rider Derek Leung made of him? I mean, obviously we know he's got that nice form. Has he been quite positive about him?
Yeah. He tried 2 times. He also, the first time he okay. The second time he tell me he's improved. But 1200 on the depth maybe can't see too much. Yeah.
And I guess obviously naturally I must ask you, Frankie. Obviously the main target. There is a big target with him, of course, a Hong Kong Derby. I'm sure. I mean, he comes through this. I guess sights are very much set on that race. Would that be fair?
Yeah. You can see his forms 2000, sure, no problem. Later on, maybe he can 2004, yeah. And I tried to make him in the derby because he's weighing 80, and then if he can get more weighting, should be sure he can get into the derby, yeah.
Alexis, Invincible Sage is a horse that you're going to ride on Monday. Obviously some really good racing. This is a good race, the 10th, and well, last time out you ran a really nice race down the straight.
Yes, indeed. He seems to be in good form. Last time was a great run. The question mark is course and distance, but I believe he's going to be okay. If the pace is good enough, he should be able to finish.
I know it's probably a hard question to answer for you. I mean, you've never ridden him over this trip, but he has had a couple of goes and he's run well. So I guess that would fill you with a bit of confidence.
I think so, especially now he seems to be more mature. He's got a certain amount of experience. So I believe he should adapt well, even though he seems to be great over the 1000 meter straight. But I think he is certainly in good form, and I expect him to run a good race.
Yeah, you mentioned that form, of course. Victor, the winner, came out of that race last time out. You've ridden him in a bit of track work since. Has he felt good since the Bohemia Trophy?
Yes, he looks fit and healthy. I'm very pleased with his gallop recently, so nothing wrong with the horse. He looks in good form. I think, I'm happy to ride him.
He's drawn in 8, Alexis. Drawn in 9 next year is Galaxy Patch, of course, potentially the one that you've got to beat, and they've all got to beat. So I guess you'll be keen not to let him get out of your sights too far.
Well, I'm not really concerned about his position in the field. I would more like look into the right spot for my horse and relax him and allow him to finish. He seems to have a good turn of foot when you wait. I think he needs a bit of patience, so I'll try to put him asleep and hit the line strong enough to win the race.
Harry, Blue Marlin is a horse that you've had a pretty good relationship with so far, and he's really developing into quite a nice horse.
He is. He's just gone from strength to strength, really. He took a little bit of settling. He seems to have got better relaxing during his races, and he's improving.
Just on that point in question, I mean, the fact that he's taken a bit of time. I mean, he's a big horse, isn't he? And you've had a bit to do with him from an early stage. And he was never the easiest, was he, at the beginning? But he really seems to have settled down and found out what it's all about being a racehorse.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, he's even behind the stalls. He can just get a little bit fractious. He's getting better with that with time. But yeah, I think once he can just really package it all together, it's just going to show even more improvement. But he's a horse I've always thought will go further when he really switches off. So it might be something for the future.
Talk to me about his win last time, Harry. He had to be tough, and he sort of knuckled down to the task well to beat Superb Boy. And once again, he's drawn a good gate, which is always a blessing for this guy.
It is, yeah. He had a spate of bad draws, which certainly doesn't help his running style. But when he gets a good draw, it helps him get into a nice position and just go through the motions smoothly. So, yeah, as you mentioned, last time was a good run. He really battled it out to the finish, and hopefully he can do the same again.
He's got that decent weight, given his rating is the top rate. I mean, we've spoken about him being a big horse. I guess never ideal, but you're confident that he can carry it and perhaps give them another beating this time in?
That's right. It's never ideal carrying top weight and giving weight away to other horses, but he is a big horse, as we've said, and if anyone can carry the weight, it's him. So I don't see that as a big negative.